What's up, friends? Welcome into this New Year's Eve edition of Rock Chalk Sports as we put a bow on 2025 and head toward 2026. Hope that 2026 is your best year yet, and we're going to be closing it out talking some Jayhawks.
I meant to swing by Walgreens today and get those fun glasses and like confetti.
You still got time.
We're doing a show.
You got time? Go after?
No, I wanted to do it for the show.
For the
show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have a fun celebration over on Stowe Drive tonight.
You can come.
I
told you can come.
No, I'm not coming. But hope everybody's having a great time and has a great evening planned ahead of them, and then a sleepy New Year's Day, I'm sure, for most of us. We'll be back on air on Monday recapping KU UCF, which we're going to preview here in the opening segment on Rock Chalk Sports. The Jayhawks and the Knights, Saturday, 1 o'clock, 11:30 will be the Crimson and Blue show to kick off your coverage. You can hear that on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Talking Knights, one of their best teams. And then following this, we're going to be joined by Henry Greenstein, the California kid who recently spent some time in the Golden State. Nice hearing him reconnect with some family out west.
Yeah, that is nice. We've talked to Henry. He ate a lot of latkes. Had a nice little time. I'm always glad when Henry goes back to California. He always looks tanner, I think.
He does, yeah. And he's a naturally tan guy.
Naturally
too, so
tan. He's that beautiful olive skin.
Yes.
And his puka shell necklace. He walked in with a surfboard today. I think he was a little too indoctrinated in his time over there in California.
It happens, man.
That happens when you go home.
It gets all of us.
Yeah, right. You know, when you go and hang out with your high school buddies, you start, reverting back to your 16-year-old ways. That's what Henry does.
Riding the
waves. He starts wearing flip-flops and Hollister T-shirts. And
you guys know Henry. That's his
exactly
bread and butter.
That's exactly what
we're
he
talking NFL following the segment with Henry as we've got a big NFL weekend up. We're going to give up some game picks as well. And then our KU Mailbag segment where you guys reached out to us at the Kansas Nation on Twitter. Appreciate that. Following that, we're doing Kansas football position grade outlook, looking at the tight ends. Unfortunately, an injury bug hit the tight ends this season for Kansas football, or I should say last season now, officially back in 2025. But we'll talk about the tight end performance, and certainly that's a position where Kansas has some promising young guys, but certainly will likely have some additions as well. And then we're going to close out 2026 with some game picks, college football, college basketball, of course, the college football playoff, Miami, Ohio State. Tonight, Dan, give us a little teaser on who you think wins a rematch of a early 2000s national championship game.
I don't want to do this because it's so lame, but I'm going to call my shot right now. This is for the entirety of it. I think Ohio State goes back-to-back. And it's so lame, and I hate it. I hate the fact that I say that, but they're just so good on the defensive side of the ball. They have incredible wide receivers. Julian Sayin is pretty good. I know I kept on saying that he was the 22nd best starter on that team.
Yeah,
he is really. He was a
Heisman
guy too. It sucks because it's so boring because this college football playoff was set up to be so much fun where there's a lot of teams who could really be in it, and it's gonna end. I just know it. It's gonna end with a repeat champion, and it sucks.
Man, that was an epic game back in 2003 Fiesta Bowl. Following the 2002 season, Miami, Ohio State won that national championship 31-24. Remember the Fiesta Bowl was Tostitos, and then all of a sudden it changed to PlayStation. It's like, all of a sudden this doesn't matter. You just whoever foots the bill, and we're going to switch it over to the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl.
Tostitos Fiesta Bowl was because that's like a.
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
You dip your chip in it. Right. It does make sense.
That's how it started.
Remind me, was Greg Olson on that Miami team?
Greg Olson. I don't know.
G-Reg.
Of all the players. I mean, that was the
Well, I know there's a lot of
Ray
players
Lewis.
on that team, but yeah.
Greg Olson. I don't know. Look that up for us.
Sure
hey, let's talk UCF, though, here in the opening segment. Want to give a big shout-out to Miles Schneider and Crown Automotive. 2025, they were huge for us here at Kansas Nation and becoming our first partners. Visit them on South Iowa or go to crownautomotive.com. They can get you in the car that you need. Check out their inventory and really just great people, easy to work with. crownautomotive.com or, again, on South Iowa here in Lawrence. They are sponsoring this opening segment. Appreciate that as always. Dan, tell us about the UCF Knights. I can tell you that they've had a very solid non-conference season, perhaps one of Johnny Dawkins' best teams, as I alluded to. 11-1. The lone loss was to Vanderbilt, nothing to scoff at, and a lot of playmakers, a lot of guys who can fill it up. And, give us some nuts and bolts on the Knights.
Yeah, I think their one loss to Vanderbilt is looking better and better, right? Because when they lost to Vanderbilt, Vanderbilt was not a ranked team. I think they might have been receiving votes. And now Vanderbilt, all of a sudden, they're the 11th best team in the nation in terms of the AP. So that loss is looking really good to them. It wasn't really a close loss, but still it was a really high-scoring loss for the UCF Knights against Vanderbilt. But UCF, like you said, this is probably their best team. Their non-con was not tough whatsoever. Their best win was against Texas A&M, who I think they're 10-3 right now. Also haven't had a very tough non-con, and then they beat Pitt, who's 7-7 right now. Also, just not a good Big Ten team. So, it is. Excuse me, ACC.
Yeah.
Did I say Big Ten?
Yeah.
I had Ohio State on my mind. They beat Pitt, who's an ACC team. Duh. So that's probably their second best win, and again, they're a 500 team right now. So I'm calling a little bit of fraud watch right here. Obviously 11-1 is an excellent start to your season, and that can do a lot for momentum. And you have a lot of guys who haven't played together, right? You got Jordan Burks, who transferred in from Georgetown, and then from Kentucky. You had Riley Kugel, who transferred from Florida and Mississippi. You have Thelmus Folks and Jamichael Stillwell, who both came over from Milwaukee, right? John Bull came over from Ole Miss, I believe. So all 5 of their starters, this is their first year playing together, except for Thelmus Folks and Jamichael Stillwell, who played on a different team last year in Milwaukee with much lesser competition. But all in all, this is a very good squad if you look at it from top to bottom, right? Jordan Burks is their number one guy. He averages 13.8 points per game. He's 6'9", kind of a stretch 4 wing kind of guy. He can shoot a lot of threes. He's shooting 39.6% from the three-point line right now. They're a very good three-point shooting team, and I'll roll you through kind of just the numbers here in terms of what they're shooting from three. So Jordan Burks, like I said, number one scorer on the squad, 39.6% from three. Again, he's 6'9". You also got Riley Kugel, Kansas legend, right? He was
Briefly had committed
to Kansas, then went to Mississippi State. Had a pretty good year last year, and he's averaging 13.7 points per game. He's shooting 40% from the three-point line, only 39% from the field, which I think is a little interesting as well. So he's probably, he's their sort of that two-man that they have. Thelmus Folks is fascinating to me. He came over from Milwaukee. He's averaging 13.3 points per game. He's their third leading scorer. He's 5th in the nation in assists per game with 7.2 assists per game. Talk about a facilitator, a guy who can feed you the ball, and he's their third leading scorer. He's averaging 13.3 points per game, so he can do it on both sides, right? He can score on you. He can hit those threes. He's shooting 50% from three right now, which is just out of this world. And with 7.2 assists per game, that's something you really need to look for. And a lot of that is, feeding guys like Burks and like Kugel and, watching them. His court vision is really, really good to see. Jamichael Stillwell, another transfer who came over from Milwaukee, 6'8", averages 8.8 rebounds per game. That's 47th in the nation in Division I, 12.6 points per game. He's also shooting 38.5% from three, right? So you look down this list of just their starters. I'm not going to include John Bull because he's 7'2" and never shoots threes. They're all shooting upwards of 38.5%. Jamichael Stillwell, who's their power forward, is the worst three-point shooter in all of the starters with 38.5. Then you got 39.6, 40, 50. This is a good shooting team, and they can score a lot of points as well. Again, I don't think the talent is nearly close enough to where Kansas is right now, especially if you have Darren Peterson. We can get into that, obviously, because that's the big looming question is what is happening with Darren Peterson. But they do have a lot of guys coming off their bench who make an impact as well, right? Carmelo Pacheco. I almost said Carmelo Banchero. My words are all getting mixed up today. Carmelo Pacheco, no relation to Isaiah Pacheco. He's averaging 6.5 points per game coming off the bench, around 18 minutes a game. He's shooting 40% from three. Devin Cambridge, he's a forward. He's averaging 5.8 points per game, 18 minutes per game, shooting 35% from the three-point line. So looking up and down this roster, they're shooting 39.8% as a team from a three-point line, which has got to be up there in terms of the nation, right? You're shooting damn near 40% from the three-point line 12 games in is really, really impressive.
Well, Big 12 basketball as a whole has been really electric, I would say would be the word I would use to describe the non-conference.
One word, electric.
Electric. Yeah, we'll go with that. One word. Electric. Anyway, but a lot of the teams in the Big 12 averaging upwards of 85 points per game. Again, a lot of that is scheduling. Kansas is down at 75.8, but Kansas leads the conference in points allowed per game, rather in field goal percentage allowed per game. UCF, same deal. They're 6th in the conference with 88.5 points per game. You mentioned the three-point prowess. That's going to be something that Kansas is going to have to do well, as they've done all season, allowing opponents to shoot just 25.2% from three. That is not nothing. That's something that Bill Self always harps on. KU has been top 10 in defensive efficiency in KenPom for the majority of the season, and they've done it against teams like NC State, UConn, Tennessee. They've faced Duke. They've faced North Carolina, and they've still put up these defensive numbers, so that's been good to see. Really quick, can we just go back and look at the all-time series for KU and UCF? It's been rather bizarre. 3-1 overall. Kansas leads it, but KU lost the first matchup, and that was the 23-24 season, UCF's first year in the league. They went down to Orlando. It was 65-60.
Is this just Big 12 play? Or since they've been in the Big 12?
They had never faced each other before that.
I thought they played against Taco Fall. Am I wrong about this?
No, you were wrong about that, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
First meeting ever was 23-24, and it was, again, the road conference opener for Kansas. Kansas, this was the preseason number 1 team in 23-24. Of course, they didn't 24-25. We're also preseason number 1. But this, I think, was maybe the first major slap in the face for Kansas basketball for the 2 years that they were preseason number 1 and ultimately struggled, ending up in a 4 seed and a 7 seed, respectfully, the last 2 seasons, because you went to UCF, a newcomer, a team not projected to finish anywhere near even the middle of the Big 12, and UCF beat Kansas 65-60. Hunter Dickinson had 12 points in that one. Kevin McCullough was Kansas' leading scorer. He had 16, but it was Darius Johnson hanging 17 and Jalen Sellers hanging 18. Johnny Dawkins got Coach Self, and Coach Self hadn't beaten Johnny Dawkins yet until the next 3 meetings, which I'll get into. So that was kind of an ugly 65-60 road loss for KU. And the next time Kansas faced UCF was the following year. Again, Kansas kind of trying to exact revenge, and that was an unbelievable performance from Kansas, 99-48, the biggest road Big 12 victory in history for any team. 51 points. Dickinson with 27 and 9. KU had 5 in double figures. You got 14 from Rylan Griffin. You had 12 from Flory Bidunga. And you just ran a train through UCF, kind of got your revenge, and you felt better about last year's team, right? Because then you're thinking, all right, well, this team is different than the year prior. Preseason number 1, look what we just did to UCF. In that game, Kansas held Keyshawn Hall to 12 points on just 4 of 17 shooting. If you look at some of these numbers for UCF, I mean, you see 99 points for Kansas, but look at some of these from the field. Aside from Hall, you had 1 for 5, 1 for 4, 1 for 5, 1 for 8, 1 for 4, 0 for 5. UCF couldn't do anything right that day. Certainly a bottom 5 game for them. And then last year, Kansas faced UCF twice.
Yeah.
So KU in that, well, rather 3 times, because KU got them at home. So it was 91-87, and then eventually would face them in the Big 12 tournament. 91-87, a scary one at Allen Fieldhouse. KU somehow survived. Hall, who seemed to, at that point, decide he was the biggest Jayhawk beater of anybody. 34 points. He was 11-11 from the line, 5 of 7 from 3. Kansas didn't have an answer. They got 19 from Darius Johnson. Mustafa Shyam, who is now at Cincinnati, had 17 for UCF. Kansas was able to get enough offensively, getting 24 from both Dickinson and Zeke Mayo. They won by 4, but it was uncomfortable at home. And then overtime in the Big 12 tournament, 98-94. KU somehow survives. Again, KU was the 6th seed, and UCF, if I'm not mistaken, they were the 14. They were either the 11 or 14.
Right,
I think they were the 14. Keyshawn Hall had 25 points. He was 4 of 9 from 3. He had 11 rebounds. Johnson had 22. He could get to the cup. Kansas was able to play into the quarterfinals of the Big 12 tournament at least. Then they would lose to Arizona, but KU got 24 from Mayo and 23 from Dickinson to lead the way. All in all, I would say to describe this all-time series that Kansas leads 3-1, uncomfortable. He had one amazing performance a couple years ago in Orlando, but again, third straight year you're playing in Orlando in early January, and again, despite UCF not having guys like Hall and Johnson, some of the guys you mentioned, primarily Kugel at his third official stop, really can cause a problem for Kansas. So it's important that Kansas wins this game. You can look at the schedule and say, all right, 18 games in the conference season. You've got, about 8 in January, 8 in February, and a couple in March. And you can look, and there's some really difficult stretches. In February, there's a difficult stretch where you got to face Arizona and Texas Tech both on big Mondays. But as we've talked about, and as we've quite frankly seen not go our way the past couple years, anybody can beat anybody in the Big 12.
Right.
Kansas now going 12 days in between games. That could be a positive, and hopefully Darren Peterson is back as well. But just comment on the importance of this game, and I'll remind everybody what Coach said if you missed it at Hawk Talk regarding DP.
Yeah, I mean, look, obviously you want to start off Big 12 play with a win, especially on a road and especially in a place like Orlando where they do an incredible job at getting fans in. Look, I think UCF might be the biggest student body.
Biggest campus on the Big 12.
Yeah, biggest campus in the Big 12. Is that right? Yeah. So now the students aren't back in town yet, right? So that could be a factor. But again, we've seen a lot of hostile environments where we didn't really think they'd be in hostile environment. And a lot of people want to see Kansas play, especially when you're on a road. And Kansas fans travel really well. But starting off with a road victory, I think is going to feel really good because right now you look at this Kansas team, without Darren Peterson, and you go, yeah, this is great. We've beaten a lot of high caliber opponents. We've also lost to a lot of high caliber opponents, and you're bringing in, you're going to this UCF team, who again is 11-1. Nobody thought that was going to happen. They've beaten some okay teams, but again, their non-conference wasn't great, and they're a brand new team who has never played together before. And they're putting up 88.3 points per game, which is incredibly impressive. And just with Thelma's Folks alone averaging 7.2 assists per game, the chemistry's already there with a lot of these guys who have come onto this new program. So UCF, maybe they're better than we thought, but I'm still going to plant my feet in the ground, and I'm calling fraud watch. I don't think that their talent level is nearly as high as Kansas. But again, going on the road, starting off Big 12 play is going to be kind of that pace setter for Kansas. If you go down to Orlando and put up a stinker and you score 50 points or whatever, and you wind up losing by 5 or 6 to UCF, that could potentially set a pace for you for the beginning part of this of this conference play, right? You got TCU coming up. You got a lot of big games coming up against a lot of really, really good opponents, obviously, in the Big 12, which I personally believe is the best basketball conference in America. You have to start it off with a win, and you have to start it off. I'm not saying beat them by 50 like you did a couple years ago, but you got to make a statement and say, look, Kansas is legit. We're not the 6th best team in the Big 12, as a lot of people said that they would be, as the preseason poll said that they would be. You have to come out and make a statement right away and say, look, we beat an 11-1 UCF team at their place by a lot of points. We're not to be messed with. So in terms of a tempo setter, in terms of a pace setter, I think this is incredibly important to win this game.
Al Overview tells me that ASU has the largest enrollment, so UCF is second to ASU. So I just wanted to get that out there. So
UCF but then Arizona State came in.
I guess I'm on fraud watch after that. A Darren Peterson note, though, if you missed it on Hawk Talk the other night, Bill Self saying that Peterson has been practicing, said, quote, yes, he's practicing. I don't have any status beyond that, but yes, he's definitely out there practicing the whole time. I'm just going to go with what everybody believes to be what's best. I've been in agreement with everybody so far, but it's getting to the point now where I think he's really, really close, and hopefully he'll feel really good the rest of this week of practice, end quote. So, Coach Self, optimistic. Yeah. I would say non-committal, which is fair. He's not, right there with Darren Peterson every second of every day and asking him updates every 5 minutes, even though a lot of KU fans probably assume that's how it works. That's not how it works. And hopefully DP is feeling better, right? Kansas is going to need him. Despite KU being really good offensively, particularly against Davidson, we all know that the ceiling is much, much higher for KU. And defensively as well. DP, a guy who can get out in passing lanes. And Kansas defensively, we talk a lot about everything they've done well. One thing they haven't done very well is create turnovers. That's something Peterson could bring to the table as well. So KU and UCF Saturday at 1.
I have
After this,
I have one more point.
Yeah.
I just want to get this in there. UCF has a guy on their team named Poopa.
Poopa.
Poopha. Wara Kolnukro.
Maybe it's Poopa.
Poopa.
That's a great name.
Shout out to Poopa. 0.5 points per game.
Look at that. I'm glad that you did that deep dive research for us there.
You're welcome.
After this,
It's real
Henry
journalism.
Greenstein, KUSports.com and the Lawrence Journal World joins us in studio. Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com. Rock Chalk Sports rolls on this New Year's Eve. Alongside Dan Courtwright, I'm Sean Kellerman. And hey, every Wednesday on the show, we're joined by Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com and the Lawrence Journal World. Does great work over there. Henry, thanks again for coming in here to Kansas Nation. You got to tell us about Christmas. Understand that you spent some time out west. So break that down for us.
I certainly did. It felt like I was there for so long. Usually my my visits home to LA are like so rushed and are squeezed between KU basketball games. But because of this break, I really had plenty of time. Spent a lot of time with family, played a million board games, gave and received some nice Hanukkah presents. And now I'm back and just trying to grapple with the 3 months of intense work that will soon follow.
Right?
Did you? I have two questions for you. Number one, how many latkes did you eat, do you think?
I don't think I had that many on the night of Hanukkah itself.
Okay.
I think I had like 1 or 2 because I wasn't super hungry.
Fair.
But then the problem is they're actually pretty good cold, and we just had them in like a Ziploc in the refrigerator.
Nice.
That makes
and
sense.
so it's really tempting over the course of the ensuing days to increase one's latke consumption.
Sure.
Question number 2.
Yeah, question number 2. I said this kind of in passing, but I asked you if you would drink a Hailey Bieber smoothie the next time you're in California. Did you manage to get your hands on a Hailey Bieber smoothie?
I forgot that we discussed that. Erewhon is nowhere near where I was. I mean,
dang it.
I've never heard of anyone actually having it. I feel like you discuss this far more than any Californian.
Constantly. I dream about it.
I know.
Henry.
But I don't know, like, is Hailey Bieber's cultural cachet, I know she's a member of the Baldwin family.
Yeah, she's
but
like-
is her cultural cachet enough to, like, sell a large number of smoothies?
Maybe.
I don't
I don't
know.
know.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's definitely questionable. I mean, Sydney
definitely-
Sweeney's got her own bath.
Yeah, it's
Bath
true.
water, right?
Bath
So
water.
you bring that up a
So-
lot.
Yeah, a little bit of a different situation there.
This is how much we know about pop culture.
Yeah.
Hailey
Hey,
Bieber
what's
smoothies
your what's your go-to board game? You said you guys played a lot.
So we played a few. The one that I think was the biggest hit on this trip was Wingspan. You guys ever played that? So it's first of all, it's actually published by Stonemeyer Games, one of the founders of which was a student of Washington University in St. Louis.
Shout
Shout
out.
out.
Go Bears.
Proud alum. Go
Um,
Bears.
Wow,
At the risk
Bears.
of sounding like an impartial journalist. But it's a bird themed game where you accumulate this group of birds and you have to have them like lay eggs and feed them food. And
Oh my
stuff.
God, that's
Nice.
interesting.
But it's very strategic and occurs over the course of multiple rounds where there are different objectives you're trying to accomplish. So that one, I think, because we have a very wide-ranging group of people that we try to play with, some of whom are not into playing an hours-long, incredibly intricate deal.
Fair.
So I feel like Wingspan was kind of a happy medium on this trip. It was the most successful.
Well, you know who'd be great at that game? Paul and Bia.
Paul and
Right?
Bia.
Have you heard about his
Talk
wingspan?
about it. Yeah,
I've heard
yeah,
it's
it's great.
7-8 Wingspan.
7-8
Something like that.
wingspan.
Hey, Henry, I'm glad you had a good holiday. And, of course, we're flipping the calendar over to 2026. Like you said, we're kind of in this interesting stage right now where we haven't had a game. I don't think this has happened in all my years of watching KU basketball to where it's been literally from a Monday one week to the following Saturday you don't play. An opportunity for these guys to get some more practice reps in, and hopefully Darren Peterson has been fitting in. But these last 2 games to close out the non-con, I said this earlier this week, but I was just so impressed with KU without DP going out, and they didn't fall for the trap game, and particularly the last game against Davidson, a quality mid-major. KU went out and just dominated, and they hung 90 points, which is good to see.
Yeah, they locked in. And it felt like KU got kind of its mid-major scare out of the way early with that Princeton game. And from then on, they really didn't let these opponents at home get the better of them or build up too much momentum or self-belief. The exception, of course, being UConn, which I won't discuss anymore after talking about that at length, well after the fact on last week's show. But yeah, they really finished things off on a nice note. I think that now the situation regarding Darren Peterson is going to reach kind of a fever pitch, because if he doesn't play on Saturday, then when is he going to? And you know, Bill Self has been very measured in his public discussions of the situation. But he did say on Hawk Talk this week that he said it's kind of screwy for players to practice with DP and have him be in practice throughout and play one way and then have to play a different way because he's not in the games. So I think that, and I seem to recall saying something quite similar to that on Rock Chalk Sports not so long ago. But I think that situation is kind of untenable. So they're going to have to figure out a way to reconcile that. Whether it's resting DP for a longer period of time or having him play in games. I think I know which of those two KU fans would prefer. But I suspect there will be a big spotlight on him beginning Saturday. But whatever happens, it'll be a kind of a nice challenge to start off league play for the Jayhawks.
Yeah, for sure. And Henry, we want to look forward to conference play, but one more question, because we actually got a question in the mailbag about this. Just going to wrap up, put a bow on the non-con, if you will. If you were to give an MVP for the non-con, who would it be? You can make the case for a lot of different guys, right? Trey White, you know, obviously Melvin Council's in there. You could even make the case for Jamari McDowell. If you could pick one guy, I guess, just who would be the MVP and why are you picking him?
I think that I'm going to go with Bill Self on this one and say Melvin Council.
Okay.
I think that I probably wouldn't have said that prior to the NC State game and kind of the uptick he's been on since then. But I think that his production goes beyond what you can see in the box score. He puts so much stress on opposing teams with his speed, and we've seen him kind of unveil a nice array of moves off the dribble of late too. And adding shooting to the mix makes him an incredibly potent offensive player, and we all know how well he does on the defensive end.
Yeah.
So with that sort of two-way production, we've talked about this, but when he said at the beginning of the year he's the leader of the team, I don't know how much we in the media actually took that at face value, but it very much feels like he and Trey White have been the leaders of the team. And that's probably who my runner-up would be. I know Flory's been quite productive, but I also feel like he's been a little more inconsistent.
Sure.
He's had some games where, for long stretches, it feels like other teams are able to eliminate him more effectively than they have been with Council or White, which is something to keep an eye on for league play. But yeah, I'd pick Council in large part because he's become more efficient and effective on offense of late.
Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal World. Kind of going on that same note regarding wrapping up the non-conference season, is there anything from any individual that you want to see, aside from Darren Peterson playing in games in the conference season, in particular for Kansas to have more success? For me personally, I'm just going to give this out right now. I want to see Flory be doing good despite him having some statistical success and having some really good games. You didn't see it as much against the bigger, more talented teams. Can he score with his back to the basket? Because if he can be kind of a wider, little bit stronger type player and still have that bounce that Flory has, that could be huge for Kansas. That's what I'm going to go with, but putting you on the spot on that front, any individual or part of an individual's game you want to see in the conference season?
I mean, it's super obvious, but I'd like to see Cole Rosario make shots. He did that a little bit more in the final game of non-conference, which is encouraging to see, but he also did it against Corpus Christi and then really didn't do it much after that. I think that I feel like I've been saying this too much recently, but you can really see the vision with Cole Rosario. Mm-hmm. He's around every loose ball, whether he gets it or not. He's turning those kinds of encounters in KU's favor. He's a good rebounder on the wing. He makes plays in transition. He's a team player. He just needs to make shots. That's supposed to be his primary value. Those other things are all supposed to be like, wow, isn't it great he can also do this? But at least on this year's team, he's supposed to be a shooter off the bench. And you can tell he's not afraid to shoot it. I mean, I got to run some stats, but I feel like he was taking a shot about one for each minute he was in the game, which maybe isn't always the most efficient. But you don't want him to lose that confidence and that willingness to contribute in that way. So that's kind of the number one thing on my wish list for KU heading into the new year.
Plus, nobody's talking about him, right?
Nobody is. Well, we went through a period where, like I said, I really feel like no one was talking about it. But now, I don't know if that works quite as well after people are talking about him a moderate amount.
Yeah. They're talking about him, but not to the extent as to what they were, not to the extent that what they weren't.
And for what it's worth, Self did say on Hawk Talk this week they kind of expected that he would take some time to adjust. Now, of course, he was in the starting lineup, so like if they had that, but he said that, so I just figure I should mention it.
Yeah, which I mean, and he has been adjusting, and you can see him kind of on an upward tick. I think that he is adjusting well at the beginning of the year. Way too fast for him, right? And he just could not catch up. And now we're seeing him get more comfortable and put up those shots, and hopefully they'll start falling. Henry, wanted to talk to you about UCF. Feels like this is the third year in a row that Kansas is starting off conference play with UCF down in Orlando. What do you know about UCF? They have a former Jayhawk legend, Riley Kugel, on their squad, who's their second leading scorer. Jordan Burks is really good for them. They also have the fifth leading assist per game. All right, how do I phrase it? The fifth leading assister in the nation, and Thelmus Folks. He has 7.2 assists per game. Tell me what you know about UCF. How do you think KU matches up with them?
Yeah, I've certainly got more reading to do about them, but you're right. This is the third year in a row that KU's first road game has been at UCF.
Okay, that's what it was.
Because 2 years ago, the opener was at home against TCU. Hunter Dickinson wins it on a layup with 4 seconds left. And then last year,
home opener against West Virginia.
A year ago today, Javon Small gets Flory up in the air and makes the 2.
I remember in postgame I was saying I'm leaving this in 2024. And unfortunately for the 24-25 Jayhawks, 2025 wasn't much better.
They did not. Well, actually, so they went to UCF and won by 51.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
99-48. Flory had 6 blocks. It was like the biggest road win in Big 12 history.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's how this year's is going to be because I think this is the best team that UCF has had under Johnny Dawkins. I do think their non-conference schedule was incredibly weak. Their best win is over the Texas A&M Jayhawks with Rylan Griffin and Zach Clemens. They lost to Vanderbilt. So they've accumulated a lot of wins against lesser competition. I do think this will be a significant step up for them. They do manage to sell out Addition Financial pretty well whenever KU comes, although there's usually a pretty sizable contingent of Crimson and Blue in the stands down there. It's hard to blame them for wanting to go to Orlando this time of year, although the weather hasn't been that bad.
No, it hasn't been.
Compared to last year when I got stranded in Orlando because of the winter storm.
Oh, my God,
Sorry, this is a lot of talking about not UCF's roster.
They
have a lot of size, which has troubled KU with some teams. They've got a 7'2" center and a pair of big wings at 6'9". And I think they deserve a lot of credit for – it feels like UCF rebuilds its roster from scratch every year. And they've evaluated talent well. Like Keyshawn Hall was a big example. He's at Auburn now. You're right about Folks. I believe he came from Milwaukee, being a good addition. He just had a 24-point and 12 assists, double-double. He's been impressive. And Jordan Burks, as you mentioned, they've done a good job meshing to this point. The thing is, it hasn't quite translated for UCF to consistent success in conference play either of their first 2 years in the Big 12. Even though 2 years ago they made a big statement by beating KU in that first Big 12 game at Addition Financial. So this year's team, it'll really depend on how acute their focus can be coming out of the break. They're going to have to rebound well, which has been up and down. Mostly they've been pretty good at it. They've generally been better on the defensive. It doesn't feel this way watching them, but they've been really good on the defensive end as rebounders and not great in getting second chance opportunities. They'll have to continue to force havoc on defense, which they haven't really done. But showed some encouraging signs in that respect to Davidson. You just want to start off conference play on the right foot, which they absolutely did not do last year. And it felt like they dug themselves a hole they had to get out of. And it was always like, all right, last year in conference play it was always like, all right, KU's playing these 6 teams, they have to go at least 5-1, and they would go 4-2. And that was like that was like the entirety of conference play last year. So I'm going to try to refrain from referring to stretches in those terms. I'm just going to say, UCF, you got to win it. You got to start off on the right foot. This first stretch of conference play, some amorphous number of games is easier than the ones that happen later on.
Fair.
Go 1-0, right? It's all about
1-0.
That's what they say.
Coach speak.
That's what they say.
Henry, let's transition over to football. As by the way, KU UCF will be 1:00 tip Saturday, 11:30 Crimson and Blue coverage on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Football, there's been a lot of under the table news for all these programs because the transfer portal technically hasn't opened yet. It won't for a couple days, but some news coming out of a quarterback, couple running backs, and some other players, of course, entering the portal for Kansas. We don't know anybody who might come in. Maybe just from a positional group standpoint, with guys that you're confident will come back. Who do you think, or I guess what position do you think Kansas really needs to hone in on in the portal? Because it's going to be, like most seasons, a major roster overhaul in the offseason.
This will be the biggest, I think. And it didn't necessarily look that way, but this has been the biggest set of transfer portal departures under Leipold. So this will be comparable to last year in terms of how much they have to overhaul it, and I suspect will end up being ultimately more players when all is said and done, but we'll see. Number one on the list for me right now is running back. We've talked about this.
We're not a Justin Thurman believer.
I am a Justin Thurman believer.
No, we need more guys.
But I'm not a believer that he should be the sole owner of KU's number one running back spot next year. I think they go for 2, maybe 3 guys. In terms of numbers, the biggest need is probably safety because they've had a bit of an exodus there. But at least in Taylor Davis and Mason Ellis, you have guys who were starters at the beginning of last year. Man, I just want to see Mason Ellis get through a season healthy.
Yeah.
I know
It feels like last couple of years he had so much buzz in the first 3 or so weeks, and then injuries just completely derailed it. But anyway, running back, safety. The thing at linebacker that I think some people are missing is you think, oh, great, Trey Lathan, Joe Sipp coming back. Those are our 2 starting linebackers. I'm not sure Joe Sipp is a weak side linebacker. I think he's probably more of a Mike. We'll see how they use him. Ideally, obviously, he'd be able to play both positions. But I don't see him as kind of like the hyper pursuit to the ball athlete like Bengali Kamara. I feel like he's more of that guy who locks things down in the middle. So I kind of feel like they need another Bengali Kamara-like guy as best as you can accomplish that. But name a position KU needs someone there. I mean, quarterback, they need someone. You can't have 3 scholarship quarterbacks and the third is a true freshman. I just don't think that's a good idea. Running back, we already talked about. Receiver, you probably need at least a third starter, maybe another guy or 2. Tight end, you need 1 to kind of go along with Carson Brew and Leighton Cure. That could be a good position next year. Yeah. By the way, they have an offer out to a D2 tight end from Minnesota Duluth who had like 1,100 receiving yards.
The Bulldogs.
Are they the Bulldogs?
I'm pretty sure.
Nice. I didn't know that.
Emporia State played him in the 2016 NCAA playoffs, first round, Stingers up.
So that was your freshman year?
I was.
Wow.
I was at that game.
I would hope so.
I did not play.
No, because we've established.
No, I didn't play at all.
We've established the parameters of your collegiate playing time pretty thoroughly on this show, and I don't think any of it came in the playoffs. So, offensive line. You need a starting right tackle unless you think Jack Tanner is going to be your starting right tackle, and then you probably need another depth guy. Defensive line, we talked about this. You need at least 2 more defensive tackles who can be part of your rotation, and then you probably need another strong side defensive end to pair with Alex Bray. I already went over linebacker, safety. Cornerback, they had a couple of cornerbacks leave, and I think Jacoby Davis most recently. Even though that weirdly hasn't been reported. It's just like an Instagram post made by a random account.
Sure.
So
I
don't
he
know.
hasn't come out and said anything.
Well, it's a collaborative post.
Oh,
so
sure.
it at least seems to suggest that.
Sure.
Anyway, that
Makes
was
sense.
not necessary information. But they have space to add cornerbacks, but you would like to think that they will continue with the same primary people from last year, even though their production wasn't that great, and that they'll just take a step forward. But yeah, KU needs someone at every position. I just think running back and safety are the top 2 right now.
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense. Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, and the Lawrence Journal-World. Henry, we've talked a lot about transfer guys and even freshmen who can come in. I asked Kevin Flaherty this yesterday about the class of 25, the freshman class who was already here, and we saw some guys maybe get some special teams reps, but a lot of those guys are still just sitting behind on the bench waiting for their time to come. Is there anybody who really piques your interest in terms of the guys who were on the roster last year as freshmen who you think are going to be impact guys this year?
Well, I haven't heard what Kevin Flaherty said, but I suspect my answer will be pretty similar. So you can tell me how much. I think Malachi Curvey comes to mind, especially because they don't really have a lot at weak side linebacker. I could see him going on a similar trajectory to John Kamara from year 1 to year 2, where Kamara also got some special teams reps, albeit more than Curvey did. He got some special teams reps as a redshirt freshman. We saw Curvey make a good tackle on special teams against Utah. kind of feels like maybe he could get 100 snaps or so next year. We'll see what they bring in at linebacker. Tate Nagy, I think there's a scenario where he gets involved on the offensive end. They were so pleased with what he did on special teams in year one, which I don't know that we've quite talked about that enough. KU started a 165-pound true freshman converted quarterback at punt returner.
Yeah, right.
He didn't screw up.
He did
all
well.
Year.
Yeah.
He
Awesome.
had one fumble that he immediately recovered.
I was gonna say, was it a fumble, or I can't remember if it was a fumble or if it was like it popped up and then he caught it.
Yeah,
it did hit the turf though.
But I want to say it was kind of he was going over and it bounced and then he picked it up like off.
Yeah,
Sure.
It regardless didn't screw up his entire year returning. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
I think he may be the backup to Cam Pickett in the slot this year. That wouldn't surprise me. I don't really know what Jaden Doss is at this point in his career. I know that's not 25. That's not the 2025 class. I just mentioned that because I feel like that is someone who could figure in as well. Otherwise, out of 2025, I mean, it kind of depends how much they acquire at certain positions.
Sure.
Like right now, Darian Jones and Brandon Smelsley, congratulations, you're the number 2 safeties in the depth chart
right.
because there's nobody else there. But I don't think that will be the case by the end of the portal window. So those 2 I mentioned are probably the top 2 that stand out to me. And then, of course, those running backs.
Yeah, 100%. Henry, I have one more question for you. It's in regards to Big 12 basketball. James Nagy. This has been a point of contention on every platform, every sports radio talk show. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. I want to know your take on this because James Nagy, who was the number 31 pick in the NBA draft in 2023, technically never played in the G League or never played in the NBA, but still was drafted. Your thoughts in terms of like where the NCAA is headed, because right now it feels like anybody can just apply for a waiver and then they get it and then they're back and then they get another year. I mean, he's eligible immediately for 4 years. I guess Charlie Baker came out of the thing. I didn't read it today, but your thoughts overall in terms of what the hell is happening?
Yeah, I mean, the NCAA has largely allowed this to happen, and then when they try to make rules, those rules are deemed illegal.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an untenable position in that regard. For me, my very unsophisticated take, I think that if you go undrafted, you should be able to come back and play in college. If you are drafted, you are forgoing your eligibility and shouldn't be. I don't think that's like a
Seems
crazy,
reasonable.
I don't think that's like a crazy concept, but teams are going to be pushing the limits. And then, of course, there's kind of a whole meta-textual thing happening right now because of Joe Tipton's reporting about Trenton Flowers from the Bulls, where he came out and said these 15 teams are interested, and then had to walk back most of the teams because people came out and said, actually, we're not recruiting him. And so I think the Trenton Flowers thing really sounded a lot of alarm bells for people because he is someone who has recently played in the NBA.
Right.
And that was when it seemed like, all right, it's anarchy and mass hysteria. But then most of those teams weren't actually recruiting him, so it seems. So, but a few were, so I guess it's still. But yeah, the NCAA has said it's not going to give eligibility to people who have played in the NBA. So you can basically rule that. Najee, I understand why the idea of someone who's played in the summer league and was drafted 2 years ago frustrates people, but I think the entire student athlete model has been so thoroughly redefined and repeatedly modified by these new challenges that, like, I don't blame someone like James Nagy for being like, you know what, I might as well try to go back to college. He probably has better earnings potential there. He just got 4 years of eligibility. I don't blame the principals involved for doing what they're doing. I don't blame Scott Drew for recruiting him.
Yeah.
I think it's just the product of an environment where, like I said, the NCAA hasn't made the appropriate rules, and when they do make rules, they're struck down by legal challenges, and there's not really much anyone can do in that situation until there's a massive redefinition of how the NCAA and its athletes work.
Yeah, it's been a mess, and it's going to continue to be so until something changes from a top, I guess, whether it's the conferences, NCAA. NCAA has kind of been wobbly for a few years now, to say the least. Henry's got a great article on KUSports.com, 26 Jayhawk athletes to know in 2026. Henry, got to know your New Year's resolution as we flip over to 2026. And like you said, you've got some busy months ahead of you. So have you had a chance to think about it?
1080p like high definition. I was thinking that when I was listening to you guys' top 10 yesterday. I was like, what stupid joke resolution?
Oh my God!
is Dan going to do?
But he was like, I'm not a jester. He's a jester.
No, all those were real.
I know. He didn't say 720p or 10.
No,
my God!
Of course
right?
not.
That's my new
good.
my New Year's resolution.
New Year's resolution is upgrading from 720 to 1080p. I like that.
Or like a congressional resolution or something.
I was gonna do. I had this dumb idea. I was in the middle of the night. I said I was gonna do my top 10 New Year's revolutions.
Oh God.
And I was gonna start. I was like French Revolution, and then Sean was gonna be like, "Wait, what are you?"
I'm pretty sure there is something called the New Year's Revolution.
The number one. Look at that.
Yeah.
See?
My actual New Year's resolution. I haven't decided yet. I'll get back to you guys in 2026.
Eat more cookies and salad, I guess. Pasta.
There's not a lot of pasta at those media meals that I find
That's very true. That would be a lot of picking and choosing. You know what I've been doing, and Dan would appreciate this. The Matt Llewellyn 23rd Street Brewery, Bill Self. I've been getting the salad on the plate and then putting the buffalo chicken mac and cheese on top of the salad and then a little drizzle around. I know it's a little risky because you have the warm mac and cheese and the buffalo chip, but anyway,
sure.
I know that everybody was interested in that.
I like
Henry,
that.
Appreciate you coming in, and hey, we'll see you next week in 2026.
Next year.
Next year, yes.
See you next year.
How did I forget that oh so common joke? That's Henry Greenstein, KUSports.com, LJWorld.com. Hey, before we kick it to break, got to tell you about Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Make sure you are taking care of yourself as you flip the calendar to 2026. Make sure you've got energy for the gym, energy for work, energy for your family at home. And in fact, you can call them over at Game Day Men's Health Lawrence, 785-222-4272. If you mention this, you get 15% off your first month. Plus, your first visit is completely complimentary. Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Tell them the guys at Rock Chalk Sports Kansas Nation sent you over. And, appreciate their partnership. It's a really easy 3-step process, and they'll make you feel comfortable and make sure that you're taken care of, feeling good as we head into the new year. More Rock Chalk Sports after this on KansasNation.com. Big weekend ahead for the NFL. Certainly some, teams with more to play for than others that we don't want to talk about too much. And we're going to get into some game picks. But Dan, tell us how we can follow Kansas Nation on socials.
Sean, I'm so glad you asked. You can find us everywhere on social media.
Like and subscribe.
Facebook, Kansas Nation, Twitter at the Kansas Nation, Instagram at the Kansas Nation, TikTok at the Kansas Nation as well. Also find us on YouTube. Like and subscribe. All of our stuff, all of our shows, all of our content goes up on our YouTube as well. And as always, check out kansasnation.com for the best coverage of all things Jayhawks athletics. But yeah, be sure to follow us on everything. Share it with all your folks, all your friends, whoever it may be. Be sure to spread the good word that we're here.
Apple Podcasts, Spotify,
Yes.
YouTube. Give us likes, give us subscriptions. It matters, so we really appreciate that. All right, let's get into some NFL conversation, some game picks. So you and I have misspoke a little bit regarding the NFC South. Have you noticed this? Because since the Falcons beat the Rams the other night on the catch that wasn't, apparently, from Puka Nacua, that means that the Bucs are in danger. The Bucs need to beat the Panthers, plus they need the Falcons to lose to the Saints if they want to win the NFC South.
Man.
The Panthers control their own destiny, and they are heading down to Raymond James Stadium to take on the Bucs. That is the first game on Saturday, NFL Saturday, which is always fun. 3:30 kick at Raymond James. The Bucs need to win, and they need the Saints to beat the Falcons in order to clinch the NFC South. Their 2.5-point favorites is Tampa against the Panthers, who, again, just need to win. Over-under is 43.5. Your thoughts on this game and the lines?
So if the Buccaneers beat the Panthers, they're in. If the Panthers win, they're in. So this is a win or go home, correct? This is what I'm seeing right now. It says
no. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
If the Falcons beat the Saints, then the Panthers are in.
Falcons beat the Saints and the Panthers.
Yes.
Are in. But if the season ended today, then the Panthers would be in. That's what I'm seeing on the NFL side.
Okay. So, yes, if the season ends today, the Panthers win, and if the Panthers win, they control their own destiny.
Right.
But since the Falcons beat the Rams, now if the Falcons beat the Saints, then the Panthers get in rather than the Bucs. So the Bucs need to win, plus they need the Saints to win.
Man, all of this stuff is just is just rattling around in my
I
brain.
love that you said that right after I laid it out.
But I was sorry. I was looking at something else, and I was determining. Yeah, I get what you explained it all, and then
You're good. You're good.
but yeah, Panthers taking on the Buccaneers on Saturday. I do like the Panthers in this game, even though it's at the Bucs. Bucs are 7-9 right now. I think Bryce Young has been getting a lot of disrespect from a lot of different people, and they have completely beat the odds. I think the Panthers are a semi-decent, I might even say an okay team at this point.
The Panthers?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I think they're okay.
They are. I mean,
right?
they're a lot better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah, 100%. I think the Panthers understand this, and I think that, like you said, if the Panthers win, they can kind of control their own destiny. So give me the Panthers, man. I think the Panthers are playing for a lot. I do think the Buccaneers are playing for a lot as well. Obviously, they're on the bubble. They're kind of in the hunt as well, and they need to win in order to have a chance to be able to get into those playoffs. So I think the Panthers are going to go down and win it. Give me Panthers money line plus 120.
All right. I think I got to go with the Panthers as well. I'm going to ride the wave. Bucks have just been trending the wrong direction. I'll take the plus 2.5. Of course. I would never take that money line. And then the nightcap, this is for the 1 seed in the NFC West Championship on Saturday. 7 o'clock kick. The Niners hosting the Seahawks. Niners and Bears just played maybe the game of the year on Sunday Night Football. Saturday Night Football, Niners home dogs getting 1.5. Over-under is 47.5.
Yeah, Seahawks have been fun this year, but so the 49ers. 49ers have been weirdly good. I did not expect the 49ers to be good whatsoever. It's in San Francisco. I just think, I like the 49ers here in this game. It's at home. Seahawks understand that, they're pretty much in the one spot, but also a lot of different things can be kind of mixed and matched. I do like this. For some reason, I just like the 49ers in this game. I'm not fully bought in with the Seahawks.
Well, whoever wins gets the 1 seed, so it should be interesting in the Bay Area. And then Sunday, we've got a few games that we don't really want to talk about, but we're going to go ahead and give game picks because that's what we do. Jags hosting the Titans. Titans are plus 12.5. Over-under is 47.5. Jags have been playing really good football. Shout out to Liam Cohen and Duval County, as he said in his opening press conference. Again, I said this the other day, but the first coach in NFL history to lead a team to 12-win season when they had won just 4 or fewer the previous season. And in all likelihood, they're going to take care of business against Titans.
So I have a question. So for this, if the Jags win and the Patriots lose, can the Jags jump up to the 2 spot?
The Jags technically have a shot at the 1 seed.
At the 1
still,
seed,
so they would need the Broncos and the Patriots.
So that's the thing. So the Jags aren't going to be sitting anybody, even though they've already clinched the playoffs.
Correct.
They've already clinched the AFC South, and I guess they haven't clinched the AFC South. If the Texans beat the Colts, then I guess probably head-to-head.
So in the AFC right now, the Jags have a 5% chance of earning the 1 seed. So they need to win, and they need the Broncos and Patriots to lose. So, yes, that in and of itself, you play for something.
Give me the Jags, but give me the Titans to cover. I think 12.5 is too big of a line. Titans aren't as horrible as maybe we think. They're still bad, but they're not horrible. I like the 12.5 for the Titans, but Jags still win this one.
I kind of like the 12.5 as well. I think that's too big for a conference game. Titans have been playing all right recently, so give me the Titans plus 12.5. Colts, they have been in a deep dive. They are plus 10.5 at the Texans. Over-under is 38.5.
Yeah, they are officially eliminated. They do not care. I like the Texans in this one, man. 10.5 also seems like a big line, but like we talked about, man, the Colts are a rotting pumpkin with everything, right? Jonathan Taylor hasn't been playing as good. I think Michael Pittman's taken a step down. Obviously, when you have a 45-year-old grandpa quarterback, that's going to happen. But I like the Texans in this one. I think the Texans are going to run away with this one and try to increase that number.
How about this game at Paycor that does not matter? The Cleveland Football Browns plus 7.5 at the Bengals. Bengals, man, they have got to be just ruining the day about how the first half of the season went because they can score with the best of them. Over-under is 44.5.
Yeah. So
offense, defense type game.
That's the thing is that Myles Garrett is going to try to get to the quarterback quite a bit, and they're going to be drawing up a bunch of stuff to put a lot of pressure on them because they want Myles Garrett to, get as many sacks as possible for this year. So for that reason, I'm going to hit the under. I don't think that I think that they're going to be applying a ton of pressure with Myles Garrett. I don't think the Bengals are going to be scoring as much against this Browns defense. Give me the under 44.5, excuse me. I'm not going to touch the line. I don't know who's going to win this game.
I like the under 44.5 as well. Bengals have been putting up ridiculous numbers offensively, and I like the Browns defense to keep it under that number. Again, I don't love it, but little bit of a law of averages. I think the Bengals have been scoring so much that there's a reason this number is so low. I think it goes under that 44.5. Cowboys-Giants, classic. They're not playing for anything, but Giants at home will want to beat the Cowboys. Giants are plus 3.5. Over-under is 51.5.
Yeah, I like this over, I think. 51.5. I think both teams can put up a lot of numbers. I think both teams – look, the Giants, I think the best part about them is their defense. But I think that a lot of points are going to be scored. I think Dak Prescott's, going to try to put up a bunch of numbers. Give me the over in this game. I also think the Cowboys run away with it. Give me 3.5.
Cowboys plus 3.5, or Cowboys minus 3.5, rather, your choice. Yeah, I like the Cowboys as well, but I don't feel very confident. Give me the over 51.5. Noon game, Vikings, Packers. Vikings are minus 7.5 at home against the Packers, who don't have anything to play for. Over-under is 35.5. Yes, that's why that number is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that is what it is. Is Max Brosmer still the quarterback for?
As far as I know,
is
which
it
is
be
surprising
JJ?
seeing that minus 7.5.
That's
but,
what's kind of crazy to me. I probably should. I can check this. I can't check it, actually. That's fun. I don't know if Max Brosmer is going to be in or not. It all depends. If
my understanding is it'll be Brosmer, yeah.
Okay, if J.J. McCarthy plays, give me the Vikings. If it's Max Brosmer, give me the Packers to cover the spread. But this is going to be a disgusting game. I think both these teams are not playing for anything. Packers can't get better in the playoffs. Give me the Packers plus 7.5.
Then we got Saints at Falcons. Again, this one matters potentially to the Bucs. They'll know by Sunday if it matters. They'll know either way, right? Falcons minus 3 at home against the Saints. Over-under is 45.5. Again, to reiterate, in order for the Bucs to win the division and go to the playoffs, the Bucs have to win on Saturday against the Panthers. Plus, they would need the Saints, who are plus 3, to beat the Falcons in Georgia.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins is still playing quarterback, I would assume. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any reason why the Falcons wouldn't win this game, right? I mean, they looked really good against the Rams. I mean, Bijan Robinson's really great too, and I mean, I'm just not fully bought in on the Saints. So give me the Falcons in this one. I think the Falcons are going to cover that -3. It feat like they're going to beat them by a touchdown, maybe 2.
Saints have been better than you think this year.
I know they
6-10.
have.
They got the same record as the Chiefs. Let that sink in for a little bit.
Yeah,
Broncos at home are minus 12.5 against the Chargers. Over-under is 37.5. The Broncos have already clinched the division. The reason the line is so big, Broncos still playing for the 1 seed. The Chargers are not playing for the 1 seed. They're just in as a wild card. Do you like the Donkeys minus 12.5?
I think that Jim Harbaugh wants to be a disruptor. I think
it's too big of a line.
You think it's too big? I think it is too. I like the Chargers, man. I like the Chargers. This is going to be my hot one. Money line, Chargers, plus 575.
Wow.
Jaguars jump over. And Jaguars take the 1 spot.
Oh, so you've also got the Patriots losing.
Patriots
okay.
are also going to lose to the Dolphins.
Wow. Amazing hot take there from Dan Courtwright. 325
I want the Jags to do well.
Bills, who continue to be just hit or miss. Seems like they've been that way for a long time. They're minus 7 against the New York Football Jets. Over-under is 38.5 in Western New York.
Yeah, I mean, always say the Jets, right?
I mean, you said that about the Saints, and they're literally better than you thought they were.
They are. They're as good as the Chiefs are right now. Yeah, give me the Bills in this one. I think the Bills don't have a lot to play for as well. They're 11-5. They're sitting on that 7 spot, but they're still gonna. It's in Western New York. It's the New York Jets. Give me that -7.
Another wild card team, Bills laying 7 there. I'll also take Bills -7. I'm not going to try to read into that one too much. Dolphins plus 10.5. We already know that you're taking them plus 425 at the Patriots. There's absolutely no chance. Give me the Patriots minus 10.5. And then also Eagles and football team. Interesting situation here as, again, given the fact that it's Week 18, lines are going to be a little bit different than they would be the rest of the season. The Eagles are going to be in. They're not going to be the 1 seed. That's either, again, going to be the Niners or the Seahawks. But the Eagles have won the NFC East. They're minus 4.5 against the football team. Over-under is 38.5. Football team, man, they've just been a mess all year.
They have been a mess. Well, it's a lot of injuries, too. I think Dan Quinn is a really good coach. And, obviously with Jaden Daniels being hurt for most of the year and, it's just another year wasted for Terry McLaurin. It really stinks for them, and they have a lot of injuries everywhere. They have been a mess. But these interdivisional games can get kind of weird. I think I'm going to go with the Eagles -4.5. Just feels right to me. I think the Eagles are still kind of, like you said, they can't get the 1 seed, right? Mm-hmm. But still, I think that they want to prove something and they want to beat their division rival.
Under 38.5. I'm just going to keep hitting the unders in the Eagles games. Their defense is really good. Chiefs are favored -5.5 in Sin City against the Raiders. Over/under is 36.5. Strong feelings toward the Chiefs' final game of 2020. I guess 2026 it'll be.
I'm going to compare this to
25-26 season.
This is like a Giants Jets.
You just
got
to get through it.
It's just you don't want to watch it.
Right.
It's like watching.
And you don't have to.
It's like watching a car crash. You're like, oh no, it's terrible, but you just can't look away.
Oh, I can look away. I promise you.
It's gonna be bad. It's just gonna be a horrible game. Over/under 36.5. Just give me the under. I mean, it's gonna be terrible. I will say this. I bet Travis Kelce gets probably 20 targets in this game. They're gonna force feed it because they think it's gonna be his last year. So it's almost like with Tony Gonzalez in his last game. I think it was with the Falcons. He had 21 targets because they were just trying to force feed him. That's what it's going to be like with Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's they're going to try to get him.
He was going for incentives there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
So there are so many incentives that if we had more time, we would dive into all individuals.
I did that last week.
Bears, Lions. Bears are -3. Over/under 50.5. Disappointing season for the Big Cats as they are out of the playoffs. Are you taking the +3 given the fact that the Bears, who are favored by 3, are already in but cannot get the 1 seed?
So Bears can't get the 1 seed. Can they jump down to the 3 seed?
I believe they can. Okay. I believe Bears, since they're 11-5,
so they're not going to be sitting
and the
anybody.
Eagles are 11-5. Yes.
And that's the thing that breaks my heart. Lions have been so fun over these last couple of years, and it just keeps on breaking their hearts. I think the Lions get it done, man. I think that they cover the spread. You know what? Nope. I'm taking it back. Give me the Bears. Bears are just too good. Lions are good. I want the Lions to be good, and I think that's maybe my weird
Chiefs and Lions.
Coming
it's
out.
so easy to hit them, and they've just not been good.
But give me the Bears. Give me the Bears in this one, -3.
All right, Rams hosting Cardinals. Rams are -7. Over/under is 46.5. That's another 325 game.
Yeah, I mean, Rams are good. I think the Rams looked really good. They managed to almost make a comeback against the Falcons. I think that one kind of hurts them a little bit. They're sitting at the 6th seed right now. I'm not a fan of the Arizona Cardinals. They have Jacoby Brissett still starting. Give me that -7.
Give me the +7 for the Cardinals. I think it's a Week 18 type game. Rams aren't playing for much, like I said, but I like the under a lot in this game, 46.5. Give me that under. And then for the AFC North, exciting one. Whoever wins this is in. Steelers hosting the Ravens. Steelers are +3.5 at home. Over/under is 40.5.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing with this one, didn't they?
Worked out.
Winning in, right? This is going to go against everything in every fiber of my being. Aaron Rodgers looks good. Give me the Steelers. I think the Steelers win this
outright.
one. Money line +160.
All right. I can't trust the Ravens with the 3.5
No,
either.
you can't trust the Ravens.
Give me the Steelers at home +3.5 as well.
Ravens
I think
have
they
been
end
bad
up going.
this year.
But one thing to keep in mind, the Ravens are probably going to win because if they win, you know what the Steelers' record is to close out the season? 9-8.
Yeah.
9-8. And that's how it goes for Mike Tomlin in the Steel City. That's our NFL weekend outlook and some game picks as well. Exciting with 2 games that have a lot on the line, really 3 if you include the NFC South with the Bucs and the Panthers. Of course, the Panthers win, they're in. And then the Saturday night game, the Seahawks and the Niners, that determines the 1 seed in the NFC. And then, as we alluded to, the Sunday night game determines the final playoff spot in the AFC, the AFC North Division champion, Ravens and Steelers. More coming up after this, including our KU Mailbag segment, sponsored by Crown Automotive, next on Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com. Miles Schneider and Crown Automotive are partners of us here at Kansas Nation. They are over on South Iowa, and Dan Courtwright will be the first to tell you that they can take care of anything you need regarding getting you in the vehicle you need.
Yeah, they're over in my neck of the woods, as you like to say. Crown Automotive, crownautomotive.com, a number of new vehicles, Toyotas and Volkswagens, and a number of used vehicles as well. They'll get you in the car that fits your lifestyle. They have the best customer service, the friendliest salespeople, and a number of excellent and just incredible used cars and new cars. So go check them out, crownautomotive.com.
All right, Crown Automotive sponsoring our KU Mailbag segment by the people, for the people. Dan, let's dive in.
Michael He wants to know, I actually like that we're starting off with this one, how much Jamari McDowell will we be seeing once DB comes back?
I'm thinking his minutes won't take that much of a hit. You know what Jamari McDowell does well? He moves the ball. He's a ball mover, and this kind of goes off of what Kevin Flaherty was saying a couple days ago. He brought up Kevin Young, the custodian, one of the great nicknames of our time, is that he was a ball mover. Things hummed. The ball hums when Jamari McDowell is out there, and he seems to hit big shots. He's not like a sharpshooter in the sense of the word that he's going to be hunting his shot every time he touches the ball. But it seems like when Kansas has needed a big shot, Jamari McDowell has hit it. He's done all right getting to the free throw line. He's been a solid defender. And I think he's proven that he can be a valuable asset on the court for this team, even when Peterson's back.
Yeah, for sure, right? I mean, coming into this season, I certainly didn't expect a lot of Jamari McDowell, maybe a couple of minutes here coming off the bench whenever we need a shot or something, because that's really what I thought of Jamari McDowell. I said, okay, well, he's got a good three-point shot, can't really do a whole lot else. And it's abundantly clear that he's added a multitude of different things to that bag of his, right? In terms of facilitation, right? He was on triple double watch the other day, right? I mean, gosh, he was. I mean,
was he?
No, I don't know about that. But he was on double double watch. I mean, he has a couple. He had a few assists here and there. Yeah, I mean, I like Jamari McDowell a lot, and I hope to see him continue to get a lot of playing time. Now, will he start? Obviously not, right? He's starting in lieu of the potential number 1 draft pick in the NBA. Will we see more of him as time goes by? Potentially, right? If Melvin Council needs a break, which seemingly he doesn't ever need a break because he's got this high motor going inside of him at all times, and the kid can play 40 minutes a game and whatever that may be. Darren Peterson, maybe we'll see Jamari come in occasionally to kind of give DP a little bit of a break as he kind of eases his way back into playing shape and that kind of stuff. So maybe we'll see. I expect Jamari to maybe get shaved down to 10, 11, 12 minutes per game as opposed to whatever he was playing recently.
Everybody's going to lose a few minutes, right? If you got DP playing even 25, 28, then, there goes 5 minutes from this guy, 5 minutes from that guy.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it definitely will be shaved down. But, again, I think that McDowell, who initially was probably seen as 10th or 11th on this team in minutes before the season started, is now definitely closer to the 8th and 9th. And now Marco Jackson's played well recently, 9 assists, no turnovers the last couple of games. Obviously, we saw some things from Cole Rosario and know that he has an offensive ceiling that not a lot of guys on this roster have, so he'll play some more as well. But it's all about getting Peterson back because, as Greenstein alluded to, a little bit different when you are practicing and then having to play in a completely different way, and that's been the case for KU a lot recently. So hopefully DP is out there Saturday at 1, and that's kind of the next question from David asking, or from John rather, will DP play on Saturday? Bill Self, again, to reiterate what I said a little while ago, said he's been practicing the whole time, but there's basically Darren Peterson telling Coach Self how he feels, and Coach Self has said many times that he's been in conversations and been in agreement with DP's family and DP himself regarding the smartest things moving forward. Hopefully he's out there because KU needs him.
You certainly hope so, right? I mean, I think that this has been enough time to get healthy, and Bill Self said that he's been out there and he has been practicing and he has looked good. I think that he does play in this game just to whether it's to appease the fans or just get back out there and get back into a game-like scenario. I think that he will play on Saturday pending some unfortunate thing. But at this point, I don't know anything. You know what I mean? Like, I keep on trying to read between the lines and saying, okay, yeah, I think he's going to be good to go. And then all of a sudden game time rolls around and he's not going to be out there. So I don't know anything. I genuinely don't. Do I want him to be out there? Absolutely. I want him to be out there every single game. I want to see Darren Peterson play basketball because it's so much fun to watch him play basketball. It's just, like I said, I genuinely don't know anything. He'll probably, I can see a world where he maybe plays 20 minutes in this game and gets taken out, precautionary kind
Well,
of
that's what you said
thing.
last game, so you don't
I
know.
know. That's the thing. Again, I don't know anything. So many fans, me included, have pinpointed this game as this is when he will be back. If he does not play in this game, then I'm going to really start to ask a lot of questions and say, all right, what's really going on? And I don't want to play conspiracy theorist. I don't want to do any of this stuff, and I'm not right now. I'm not sounding any alarms right now. I genuinely think that he is injured and he is dealing with this, and he's not stealing money as a lot of people think that he is. And he's not just sitting out to wait to go to the NBA. None of that is happening. He wants to play basketball. But we pinpointed this game, me more so, as to, all right, get him healthy for conference play. And if he's not healthy for conference play, then I'm going to start to get really concerned.
David wants to know, what's your nighttime routine?
I love this. Do you have one? I'm sure yours is. Ours probably differ.
I would think so.
Incredibly. My nighttime routine usually, it depends on what day it is, right? If it's like Sunday, Monday, Thursday, Saturday, I'm usually up watching the games. Whatever football games, whatever basketball games there will be. Usually it's football games because we're still in football season right now. Tuesdays, usually KU will play, but if not, Tuesday's my movie night, man.
Movie night. All right.
Like if KU basketball doesn't play, I watched 2 movies last night. Nice. I watched the new Naked Gun movie. By the way, watch it. It's great. And then I watched a documentary made in 1975 called Harlan County, USA, about mine workers who voted to join a union, and the big coal mining company wouldn't sign the contract, and there was like guns involved.
Interesting.
On the picket line. It was absolutely insane. It was incredible. Check it out, by the way. Harlan County, USA. It's on.
So you're a big TV guy. Movies,
big
movies,
TV
and
movie guy.
sports. Okay.
Yeah. So like Tuesdays and Wednesdays are usually my movie nights. I'll throw something on.
And then
I'll
sports
catch
all
up
the
on
other
my
nights.
show. Sports all the other nights. And then I'm usually in a robe. I have a robe.
Wow.
I'm usually in a robe.
TMI.
And then after my thing is done, I'll let the dogs out. I'll go brush my teeth, and then I'll go to bed.
Wow. That is exhausting. It is not easy being you.
No, it's not.
Oh my God.
No.
How do you do it?
You know what? And you can call me a warrior or a hero or any
of
these words are
just
fitting.
Sit around,
but
watch
really,
movies in your robe, and then go to bed. Is what you do. Okay,
yeah,
that's cool.
What's your nighttime routine?
Man, a lot of playing with my toddler.
Sure.
Exhaustive stuff. But sometimes she has gymnastics, so I take her to gymnastics. And she's not really a sit down and watch TV. Occasionally she will. She's got some shows she likes, Elmo, Miss Rachel occasionally, although she's kind of fading out, which is a bummer.
Fading out of Miss Rachel.
Miss Rachel's my favorite too.
Yeah,
now we've got this new baby, so kind of trying to figure out our man-to-man defense for that, and then
sure.
We'll give our toddler a bath, and then you got the whole bedtime routine. It's all about her bedtime routine.
Is she transitioning into a Bluey phase or a Paw Patrol phase or
Not
anything?
Yet.
It's still Elmo and Miss Rachel.
Yeah. I mean, she's got like 8 or 9. Like
Baby
she watches
Shark.
Blippi.
Was that a good one?
Never really got into Baby Shark, but again, she really just wants to play. So that's the thing, is it's not as much TV as much as it is.
That's good though.
A lot of playing.
That's good.
It's good.
That's good for a kid.
It's good. No, it's fantastic. But yeah, so fun stuff being a dad of a couple young girls.
For sure. Elliot wants to know, do you have any personal goals for this upcoming year? Sort of a resolution of sorts, maybe for the new year. Like a New Year's resolution.
How about that?
That's good. I'm going to coin that.
You should.
Let me write that down. Personal goals for the upcoming year. The only one that I have consistently set for myself is dunking a basketball.
Yeah. Right, you got to have a new one. Because that you set years ago.
I know. But, like, it's still one. And the year that I'm not able to dunk a basketball, that's when I've officially gotten old.
Okay.
That's when I'm officially over the hill. I'm going to buy, like, tweed and get glasses and walk around with a cane.
A robe.
Walk around with a robe.
Watch TV all day.
Just read the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personal goals for this upcoming year. I mean, I had I had 10 New Year's resolutions that I was going to do
That's
yesterday.
right. Any realistic ones?
Yeah, I mean, I do need to go to the gym more, for sure.
And then eat healthier.
Eat healthier.
Oh my God, I think you're the first person to have those resolutions.
Yeah. Eat healthier and go to the gym. Take notes, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm getting married this year,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, that's not a goal, but just like, you know, I don't know. I don't really have any goals set for this year.
Okay. I don't either. I've never been great with New Year's resolutions, but
No,
I probably
neither have I.
should. I probably need to be a little smarter with things like time management.
Sure.
Um,
What about
maybe drink less energy drinks.
This is a good one. Yeah, you should.
Yeah. That would be smart.
What about say yes more to everything? Say yes to everything.
Yeah?
I think that's a good one.
For you?
Yeah, why not?
You could certainly give it a shot.
Say yes to everything. Like that Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Perfect.
A good movie. I'll do that. I'm going to do that.
I pretty much do that to my daughter. If she wants a
Yeah.
treat, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Elliot also wants to know, as of today, in your opinion, what does KU football need to do in the transfer portal to win 10 games next year? Or is that unrealistic? Man.
10 games would
10
a
games
lot of
is-
good things would need to happen.
You need to
It's
get
hard,
a
man.
good haul.
Especially in the Big 12.
Yeah, I think you need
Tough schedule.
I think you need in order to win 10 games next year, this is not a shot, by the way, but you need to get a better number 2 wide receiver than Keaton Quebeca. I still think that he is going to be a valuable asset to this team, but you need a better number 2 than that. So you need at least 3 starting caliber wide receivers out of the portal. You need probably, and this is to win 10 games, you need 2 guys who are for sure starters and for sure like all Big 12 honorable mention at least guys at linebacker. Need to beef up the safeties a lot. Just get depth there. And then, honestly, maybe the biggest one might be defensive line. And I know we have some guys coming back and like Alex Bray and, you know, we got Dak Brinkley coming back, Leroy Harris coming back. I get that. But just looking at what Texas Tech did this year with how much money that they spent on their defensive line alone and how far that's taken them. I mean, they're the number 4 seed in the CFP this year. It just makes sense. I think you got to beef up the D line to make so many people uncomfortable. And you got to get a quarterback. I mean, and again, this isn't a shot at anybody that we have. Hopefully Isaiah Marshall or Cole Ballard are going to be the guy to be able to lead us to 10 wins. But if you want an automatic 10 wins, you got to get there's a name right now that's floating out there. Tell me if I'm crazy. Rocco Beck. Now, we don't have Rocco Beck money by any means, but he'll win you 10 games. I think if you get 2 star receivers out of the portal, you have Cam Pickett there as well, you get Rocco Beck back there, that's a 10-win team.
Seems unlikely for a lot of reasons.
No. Hey,
but again,
that
and
goes.
I know you're not trying to stab any of quarterbacks that we've got on campus right
absolutely
now.
Absolutely not. That goes back to the other part. It says unrealistic,
yeah,
and it probably is unrealistic.
I would say, in general terms, you know, the question was asked about the portal specifically. In general terms, if Kansas is going to win 10 games next year, then you need awesome quarterback play. You have to. You need awesome quarterback play, and you need a defense that forces turnovers. Okay, that's not difficult. That would be true for pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
If you're talking portal specifically, I agree about the wide receivers. I think you need to get at least 2 ready now playmaking wide receivers who catch the ball and you know are very impactful. You need a running back in all likelihood who's going to be impactful. And then on the offensive line, we don't really know what that looks like, right? We have a few guys that we will slot in as starters, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Kansas add some people up front on that front. And then, I mean, defensively, a middle linebacker, if you can get a guy like Bengali Kamara sort of off the edge, because, you know, I say middle linebacker, but like Henry was talking about, Joseph Jr. is kind of more in that realm, and Trey Lathan as well. But you got to get an athletic guy or 2 like Bengali to basically do anything that a linebacker needs to do. Tackle well, chase down somebody, cover somebody. And the secondary, though we feel pretty good about some of those younger guys, that's going to be an area as well. So a lot, obviously, but that's generally how it goes regarding the transfer portal.
Mike, he wants to know, how many true road games does Kansas win this year? That's a great question.
I'm going to go with
this is
victory
just for conference
So
play.
we already won. Okay, I was going to say we already beat NC State. At UCF, I'll say win. I'm going to say win at West Virginia as well. KU, I'll say beats Colorado, so we're 3-0. I don't like it, but I'm going to say a loss to K-State. It's been tough there recently, 3-1. You lose at Tech, that's 3-2. You lose at Iowa State, 3-3. You beat Oklahoma State on the road, 4-3. And then you're at Arizona, which is tough, and then at Arizona State. So I think you go 1-1 in those two, 5-4. You got to feel pretty good about that. Then maybe you lose 1 at Allen Fieldhouse, which we don't like. 13-5, 14-4. If you don't lose at Allen Fieldhouse, I think that would be absolutely an acceptable, solid.
Now, if you're looking at a loss in Allen Fieldhouse, are you looking at Houston?
I'm not looking
or
at
Arizona?
one, but unfortunately there might be one. That would be most likely, right? Those are the Iowa
You'd
State,
think,
maybe.
Right?
KU gets Iowa State
you also
and
got
Houston
BYU
twice, which is a mess.
You got BYU in Allen Fieldhouse
Right.
too, which is going to be tough. You also have Iowa State in Allen Fieldhouse. You got Baylor in Allen Fieldhouse. Got some tough.
Right.
Home
and that's
games.
all going to be coming up very soon. Like, we're kind of in this lull right now where you had Towson and Davidson, but then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, we got at West Virginia, we got Baylor, we got Iowa State, we got BYU coming up. So that'll be quick.
Yeah, it will be quick. I'm with you. I think they win five road
4.
games and 5-4. That's not out of the realm of possibility.
And would be better than the road performances from each of the last couple teams here at KU.
No kidding. Pitch from Twitter says, is Cole Rosario 95%? How about Trey White 94%? I get it. I understand the joke.
I don't get it.
He's talking about Darren Peterson.
Oh.
Like, is he's at 95%? Like, are the other guys at 100%? Like, that kind of thing. Look, here's the thing. I'm not a doctor. The trainers and his family and Bill Self and the coaching staff in regards to Darren Peterson, they're doing all they can, and they're ultimately making these decisions, right? And I get it. It's frustrating, but it's just something we got to live with. So I'm going to move on from that one. Blake says, what's your favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Ice cold Coca-Cola Classic.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like I'm a Coke guy too.
Yeah.
But
Pepsi's so disappointing.
It is. I like Diet Pepsi though. I think I like Diet Pepsi better than I like Diet Coke.
If I'm having a day where I can survive with a diet soda, then yeah, I'm good with pretty much any of them.
That's fair. What about a nice like blueberry lemonade? You a big lemonade guy?
Yum. Yeah. I am, but it doesn't have caffeine. So if I'm going to drink something, I need it to be caffeinated for the most part. Like I would just absolutely slug Sprites if they had caffeine in them. But because I love the taste, but I got to have a little caffeine.
That's good. A little bit of a kick.
Yeah.
I like a nice, refreshing Arnold Palmer.
Yes.
Might be
delicious.
my number one.
Sweet tea or unsweet tea?
See, I go well, it depends on the day. I usually will go unsweet. You know, exactly. It cuts a little bit. Thomas said, who's your MVP of the non-con? We asked Henry this. He said Melvin Council. Bill Self said also thinks it's probably Melvin Council. In terms of the entire non-con, probably, I guess most, I don't want to say improved. The biggest surprise was probably Trey White, right? I mean, there's no question about that. I think Trey White was the biggest surprise. Melvin Council came on late, obviously started hitting threes in the NC State game, but you look before that, he was bricking shots. Now, he was facilitating the ball and playing incredible defense and doing everything right, except for not making shots. He came on later. Trey White, I don't know if he had really a game where there was that big of a lull. That's why
he's had a few stinkers.
He did have a few stinkers, but I think Trey White,
he's been so consistent.
Just the fact that I did not expect
bad
this whatsoever.
So good.
That's why I think it might be Trey White.
I mean, shooting upwards of 40% from three when he hadn't done anywhere close to that. I mean, if that continues in conference play, then KU is really going to continue to be dangerous.
For sure. I love this question. This is the last question that we got. Jerry says, if you could pick one Jayhawk from the Bill Self era to hit a game-winning shot down one, who would it be?
Down one.
So not down two.
David Padgett, right? At the Hearn Center. Closing down the Hearn Center.
I mean,
the game winner in the Reds. So you know.
So here's the thing. If you go by field goal percentage,
it's going to be Udoka Azubuike.
Got to be Udoka Azubuike, right? Dave McCormick had the national title game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you go with a big? Down one? Do you go with a
that's a
post? Do
very
you
good
go with a
question.
post feed down one? I probably do.
Post feed to Doak.
No, I got it. I got the right answer. Probably Marcus Morris, right?
Why?
Because he can hit those little fadeaway mid range.
Maybe. How about Wayne
kinda-
Simeon? He had the same game.
Yeah, Wayne was good, but Wayne wasn't a Bill Self guy.
That's true. Well, he was toward the end. He would count.
Well, yeah, but
He would count.
Sure, I'll count him. Give me Marcus.
I don't know. Brandon Rush was clutch.
Yeah,
Oh, here's one. How about Mario Chalmers? He was
Who?
pretty good.
yeah,
That's
that's
pretty good.
That's a good. That's a good pick.
Devon Dotson with his blow-bys.
Devontae Graham, Svi
Devontae
Mikhailuk.
Graham.
If you give him 4 steps.
Sure. Love it. Great memories, Allen Fieldhouse. Hey, that's our KU mailbag. Thanks to everybody for engaging with the show today on this New Year's Eve. After this, KU football talk, position grade for 2025 for the tight ends on Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com. Hope everybody's excited for 2026. Should be a late night tonight. Hope you enjoy it. And then we'll be back on air, of course, Monday. That's January 5th. We'll break down KU and UCF. But stay locked in to KansasNation.com Saturday game day. Dan, tell us about Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
Yeah, I want to talk to all the guys out there. I just want to check in. How are you feeling these days? Do you have a lack of energy or motivation to go to the gym or work? Are you tired all the time? Lack of sex drive? If not, that's fantastic, obviously. But if you do, you need to go check out Game Day Men's Health here in Lawrence with a plush man cave-like setting. They're here to get you back on track and create a new normal for you, right? Obviously, nobody likes going to the doctor. It's always weird and it's all white and the LED lights in there. It makes you feel something uncomfortable, but Game Day Men's Health does a great job at creating a plush man cave like setting, making you feel comfortable and not making these conversations incredibly taboo, right? If you're dealing with low testosterone, if you're dealing with erectile dysfunction, they make the conversations really simple and they do everything they can to really help you out to get you back in the game. So Google Game Day Men's Health Lawrence right now to go get yourself checked out. First visit is completely complimentary, right? They take your blood, they let you know what's going on with you, and they check you out. If it's great, it's great. That's awesome. If not, they can do everything in their power to make sure that you get back in the game. So Google Game Day Men's Health or visit them, Game Day Men's Health Lawrence here. Just Google Game Day Lawrence, and you'll find them on Google.
First visit, completely complimentary, courtesy of Mitch Bales and his team over there at Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Tight end room, we're breaking down KU football position group breakdown, and this was an area where, again, we thought Kansas was very strong heading into the fall season. You had some crucial injuries with both Deshaun Hanukkah and Carson Brune, who were really promising. Hanukkah, obviously, longer in the tooth, and he had been around, and he just dealt with injuries his entire career. And then Carson Brune, an up-and-coming redshirt freshman this past season, he shined as well. Ends up being Bowden Gruen, who stays healthy and ends up being the top contributor for Kansas from a statistical standpoint. 36 catches, 450 yards, 5 touchdowns. Really developed a rapport with Jalen Daniels, and especially in the absence of those other two, he stepped up.
Yeah, 100%. And, I really liked what I saw out of Bowden Gruen this year. 36 receptions, 450 yards, 5 touchdowns on the year. And that's a kind of guy who I didn't expect a lot out of, right? I thought it was going to be Deshaun Hanukkah mostly for this entire season. Obviously, he goes out with an ACL injury, and Bowden Gruen was able to step up. Carson Brune, excellent job in the pass blocking aspect of things. I thought he was really good in the run block and the pass block as well, which obviously is a key part of being a tight end. Bowden Gruen did an excellent job in that run blocking as well. You saw him on bend blocks. You saw him helping out in pass pro. But Bowden Gruen was definitely more of a threat outside, kind of on those long routes that we used to see, right? He reminded you a little bit more of a Mason Fairchild as some of the tight ends that we had in the past, like Jared Casey and Trevor Cardell. Those guys weren't really able to get those deep shots thrown to them and kind of high point the ball. So I really liked what I saw out of Bowden Gruen this year. Like we said, Deshaun Hanukkah did get hurt. He finished the year with 10 receptions, 97 yards. He did have 3 touchdowns, though, which is really impressive. I did hear from a reliable source that he might be getting an NFL shot, which is good for him. That is really, really huge for him. Leighton Cure obviously came on super late, 4 receptions for 63 yards, did have a touchdown in the last game of the year, but didn't really see a lot of impact from Leighton Cure. Carson Brune, again, I really liked what I saw out of him in the run block aspect of things. you kind of look at him kind of as like a, almost a quasi secondary tackle, if you will, because he was that good in the run block schemes, and that I think to me is just as important as pass catching. Carson Brune did have 5 receptions for 55 yards on the season. Also dealt with some injuries, which really was unfortunate. And then towards the end of the year, you had guys like Nolan Gorsica who was coming in and being that extra tight end as well, just an extra offensive lineman on the ball. But all in all, I thought the tight end room just too many injuries, and JD really did like Bowden Gruen, and we saw that definitely with his 450 yards, but a little lackluster in terms of what I kind of expected from this season, and not because of the play, but just because of injuries.
Yeah, it was. And Bowden Gruen, I think, undoubtedly gets an A for his performance.
Oh,
I mean, he had
100%.
some huge plays for KU. Really excited about the future of Carson Brune, and we'll see what happens in the portal, and certainly some incoming freshmen as well that are going to impact the pass game as well. A lot of questions to be answered regarding Kansas football in 2026, but in just a couple days, the portal will open. We'll have a few of those questions answered, and it'll be exciting before spring ball starts, before we know it. After this, we're talking college football playoff. Of course, that starts tonight in terms of the quarterfinals with Ohio State and Miami, and then 3 big ones tomorrow on New Year's Day. That's next on KansasNation.com. Well, we've often talked about how New Year's Day is not exactly our most exciting day of the year, or one that we look forward to, I would say, because a little depressing. You're always not feeling great, and it's usually very cold and miserable out, but there are some football games to at least have in the background. True. And usually quality games, and we're going to get into those right now. But first, don't forget to follow us on socials, KansasNation.com, for coverage, particularly game days coming up. 18 big Big 12 basketball games for KU before we head into Champ Week, which we're really excited about, over at T-Mobile Center in Kansas City in mid-March, and then Selection Sunday will be here before we know it. But it's going to be a grinder and a lot of basketball to be played until then. Follow us on socials everywhere. You can watch the show. You can listen to the show. YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Give us some likes. Give us some subscriptions. We really appreciate that. And again, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We're all over those. So follow us, Kansas Nation. All right, college football. It all starts tonight. Like I said, a rematch of a national championship game from the 2002 season. Number 2, Ohio State, and number 10, Miami. Dan, the Buckeyes are -9.5. Over-under is 40.5.
Yeah, I mean, look, Miami, they did wind up beating Texas A&M, but it was kind of a stinker of a game. A lot of defense being played in that game as well. But Ohio State's wide receivers are just too good, I think, for this Miami defense. So I love Ohio State in this game. I don't know if I'm crazy about the line. I think Miami covers this line at +9.5. Ohio State still comes out with a win.
Miami, are they just happy to be there? Who knows? It's the Cotton Bowl, but
right.
Exciting tonight to kick off the college football playoff quarterfinals. And then we've got Oregon and Texas Tech. That kicks things off tomorrow, 2026, the first marquee game. Number 4 seed Texas Tech, number 5 seed Oregon. Tech, 2.5-point dogs against the Ducks. Over-under is 51.5.
Man, Tech is just so good. And Oregon's great too. Dante Moore is a fantastic quarterback, and Dan Lanning has done such a good job with that program. I love Tech in this game. Now, they're 2.5-point dogs. So do I take that?
Well, of course.
So I'll take that. So I'll go.
Would you rather they lose by 2 and you lose?
Yeah, but I think Tech wins this game outright.
Then, hey, you have every ability.
+110. Texas Tech wins this game.
Not really worth it. I'd rather take the 2 points. But, hey, that's all you. +110, Texas Tech, Dan Courtwright's pick. All right, and then we've got the 3 o'clock game, Indiana. Who would have ever thought they are the 1 seed in the college football playoff?
They're playing a scrappy underdog.
The scrappy underdog at the Rose Bowl, number 9 seed Alabama. Indiana's -7. Over-under is 47.5.
I think Indiana has a lot to prove in this game, and I think a lot of people are maybe looking over them in terms of the national pundits. Alabama's looked good. I will give them that. Gosh, I just want to take Indiana. Maybe it's because I want to root for them, but I like Indiana in this game, and I like them -7.
-7. All right. How about that? Fernando Mendoza, his last game before joining the Raiders, we think. 3 seed Georgia, 6 seed Ole Miss. The nightcap tomorrow. Georgia's -6.5. Over under 55.5, an SEC clash.
Give me Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss in this game. I think Georgia has looked really good. Obviously, Gunnar Stockton is an excellent quarterback, but I think Ole Miss is kind of on a weird Cinderella run right now after the whole Lane Kiffin thing went down. I think it'll be poetic if Ole Miss makes it far in this CFP. So give me Ole Miss plus 6.5 and to win plus 200.
Well, whether you're popping champagne or popping some sparkling apple juice or whatever it is, we hope you guys have a fantastic New Year's Eve and a New Year's Day. We are not on air tomorrow or on Friday, so join us again Monday for the next edition of Rock Chalk Sports. But appreciate you guys. Check out kansasnation.com over this extended weekend. For Elijah Schmidt running the operations and Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying Rock Chalk. We'll see you guys next time. kansasnation.com.